Hello, welcome along to Mrs. Hewitt's Spelling at Home Key Stage 2 Word Study session. Should also say that this is the last one for the half term. We are having a break for half term next week, so there will be no sessions next week, but then we will pick them up again from after half term. So look out for them coming back once the half term is over, and have a lovely break next week as well. So our word for today, our root word for today is this. It is ject. Okay, and that is from the Latin, and I'm not sure how to say this properly really, but iacere, meaning to throw. Okay, so the ject bit means to throw. So all that's the bit to remember when we look at building our words today. For today, we have got a lot more prefixes, and they're the ones that are going to build your words and then follow through to very similar endings really, but you will find that you can use these different prefixes for most of these endings. So I'm going to pop this up to the screen. You can pause the video and build your word sums. Okay, so there's loads and loads of words that you could build, and I've tried to take an example of each of the prefixes so that we can talk a little bit about the meanings of them. So I've started with pro and ject, and we end up with project or project, whether you're talking about the noun or the verb. Okay, and we also have projection, which is obviously something that gets projected. Okay, so a project, pro, is actually to do with going forwards or before. So to kind of throw forwards is that project. So you talk about projecting your voice, or maybe projecting a sign or an image up on the screen, and that's where it is about that throwing forwards. Okay, for the noun project, I'm not entirely sure, but I would imagine it would come from the verb originally. So if you're planning a project, it's because you're going to project that to somebody. Lots of the times nouns kind of come from the verbs and they become a thing in their own right. Inject, so we've got injected, injection, that kind of speaks for itself, the in meaning in. So again, if you have an injection, it's throwing something into you, or if you're going to inject some energy into something, it's about that throwing inwards, isn't it? So that kind of explains itself. Object there, so ob kind of meaning back or below, or sort of away from, that kind of bit there. So this is a bit different really, the object, but it is around that more of a negative context of kind of not agreeing with. So again, like you have an objection to something, you're kind of voicing that you don't sort of feel part of that. And again, objectively is more like an away stance. So you look at something kind of away from it as opposed to being really involved in that. We've got rejection. So the re is kind of the opposite of pro. So re meaning back. So if you reject something, you throw it away. Okay, so back or away is a rejection. And then a dejection. D meaning kind of under or down. So you feel quite dejected. It means you're feeling quite sad. So that kind of thrown down, it's dejected there. It's kind of a feeling there. And then subject and subjective, subjectively, those sorts of things. Sub meaning below or under. So again, that was kind of came from the original bit of the verb side of it, being subjected to somebody, for like similar to being subdued or kind of put upon. So being thrown sort of underneath in terms of somebody saying something to you. So if you're subjected to something, it's done to you. And then in time, the verb of being subjected, actually the thing being subjected became the noun, the subject. So that's where that has come from. Okay, it's still that whole idea of the sub meaning below, and the ject also sort of like thrown below, thrown under. Okay, so lots and lots of different prefixes. The suffixes are relatively the same. So you've got your verbal endings there with the S, the ED and the ing. Again, my favourite one there with the ian. So you get your shun, so injection or projection, and the shun has a T because ject ends in T. You can make the plural there. And then again, the iv there. So that is for objective or subjective. you can talk about looking at something objectively or subjectively, whether you're looking at it from kind of yourself or from a wider perspective. Okay, so again, no kind of spelling rules there in terms of changing letters, dropping letters. They're all relatively straightforward, but it's more the fact that there are so many different words, different prefixes that we can add to that ject root. Okay, so hopefully you managed to build loads and loads of those words, because there was quite a lot, and saying the spelling rules relatively simple. Okay, so that is it for today. Your job is to go and write your sentences now. So again, try and pick one or two of them, and you choose different ones. So choose some verbs, some nouns, and maybe an adjective. If you can use subjective or objective, that would be really good. And then you can write those sentences, check that you're using them in the right way, maybe check with an adult that your sentence makes sense. Try and write a good sentence as well, not just like maths is my favourite subject. That's not really like a higher level sentence. So think about your interesting sentence things as well. And then you're done. And you can have a week off next week because it's half term. And then I'll see you back after half term. So take care, and I will see you soon.